Well, good morning, YouTube. Sean here, less lethal for dummies. Got my shirt on, so it must be official. Got some time today. I'm going to run various projectiles that I have through my Byrna LE, brand new, out of the box, unmodified, Canadian edition, I guess we could call it. I say good morning because this test, I'm going to be testing 6 different projectiles. Yes, I had to count 6 different projectiles. So I will allow some time in between shooting, at least probably 20 minutes. I will be using only Byrna brand CO2. These projectiles, no matter what happens through my test, I don't make claims that one is better than the other. Take the information with a grain of salt. Others find some projectiles work better for them, or they have their reasons. And if you want to see lots of other different projectiles other than what I'm going to show you here, tested, shout out to YouTube channel LL4D, Less Lethal Armed Force. He does a lot of testing with projectiles that I just don't have or don't have access to. So check him out. He's a big Byrna fan. Always testing some strange thing he found on the internet. So thanks for that. Any case, let me show you my balls. Here we are. They are laid out from lightest to heaviest. They are of varying bore sizes. I will mention those as I go through the testing. If you're not aware, bore sizing can play a part in velocity. Too tight a bore and the ball drags through the barrel. Too loose a bore and too much gas escapes outside of the projectile, just wasting down the barrel essentially. So we'll start with the lightest, and I will shoot them in the same order that they are laid out here. So Byrna Kinetics, these bad boys, I sized them at 0.684. And they are 2.9 grams. One of my favorites here are these AliExpress Delrin, P-O-M, it's like poly something, la 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 la, Delrin. Balls. These are the largest I have. They do very well in the Byrna. They are a 0.687 bore. .75. I should be rounding up to 3.8. I'm going to round down. 3.7 grams. Next up are Riot balls. These are one of the smallest bore sized. These are 0.682. These are a hard nylon, no steel core. .6. Let me just try one more of those. I thought they were heavier. Okay, we're gonna do one more. 3.7. We are gonna call these 3.7. One odd one in there. Yeah. Next, MCS, Modern Combat Sports Kinetics. These are also 0.682 bore size. They're a little rougher around the edges than your Riot balls. Might be hard to pick up on camera, but you can see the seam on the Modern Combat Sports. These Riot balls are smooth as glass. These are also solid nylon, no steel core. 4.6. Next is Grimburg Jewel V2. Everybody's familiar with these. These are nylon composite. So what that means is it has, I think it has copper, or it's copper infused to add weight. These are 0.684 bore size. Eight grams. Last but not least, Riot balls. 0.682 bore, which is the same as the lighter Riot balls here, and the same as the Modern Combat Sports kinetics. These are steel core, and they are heavy. 9.9 grams. All right, so the video is going to be kind of abbreviated, and I'm not going to show you me shooting off entire CO2s. It's going to be first mag, chrono 3, and it'll be a CO2 change for each projectile. The first test is going to be a puncture on safety and fire. Byrna kinetics, 2.9 grams. Puncture on safety. $444. $400. And I have a small problem. My trigger is sticking. When I press and release, it returns. 368. That, okay. To interrupt the whole abbreviated testing, this marker's brand new out of the box. We'll see how that trigger issue pans out. It may have just been it's been sitting for a while. Mag dump. No trigger problems now. 3.7 gram Delrin balls from AliExpress. Puncture on safety. $388. $328. $276. Interesting trend with those. The Byrna kinetics actually, the drop was less significant, so we'll analyze that when we get to the end. Mag dump. .7 gram Riot balls. These are the smallest bore size of all the projectiles I have. Well, there are 3 with this small bore size. Puncture on safety. $364. $290. $278. Mag dump. .6 gram Modern Combat Sports kinetics. $344. 288. $240. And what's next? Mag dump. Grimburg Joules, V2, 8 grams. $252. Dual sights. $186. Last but not least, 9.9 gram Riot balls. $226. $92. $152. And you know what's coming. Back at the table here, guys. Couple of things to talk about. My trigger issue. That happened on my very first CO2, and I'm a dummy, of course. Self-inflicted. I was not depressing the trigger fully. I was only pulling it back and probably leaving like a quarter to an 1/8 inch gap. And if you're unfamiliar with how these pull to puncture markers work, the puncture pin actually moves every time you function your trigger. So if you don't fully puncture it the first time, you've made a half-size hole, and then you pull it again, and then you're slowly increasing the size of that hole. But the problem really is once the marker's under pressure, the pin sticks. So after I'd realized the error of my ways, I began making a full puncture. And as you saw in my video, I didn't have any problems after that. Funny enough though, I only shoot Crossman CO2s prior to receiving these Byrna CO2s, and I never had that issue. So is there a difference in the way the necks are shaped that's allowed me to get away with maybe doing this? I didn't realize I was half-assing it each time. And now when I got the Byrna CO2s, they require a full and clean puncture. I don't know. I got lots of Crossman CO2s to test, so I will be going and trying that. Okay, but let's get on to the projectile. So lightest to heaviest. Byrna Kinetics put up the highest muzzle velocity. And I say muzzle velocity because this X-ray dart measures 9 inches outside of your muzzle. Muzzle velocity, not impact energy. And there is an argument there that could go on for days. But this marker, Byrna designs these markers, and so does every other manufacturer for that matter, to allow a certain amount of air out during each firing sequence. This amount of air is tailored to the weight of their projectile, the weight of those pepper balls, the CS balls, OC balls. They're all right around 3 grams. So this marker was essentially tuned to that. It has no velocity adjustment. That's what it's good at. Now, as we moved up, as soon as we left this 3 gram area and we went 3.7, 3.7, 4.6, and so on and so on, the first shot was still good. Like 25 joules up to about the Grimburg Joule V2s, and then we dropped to a 23 and a 23 on the 9.9 gram Riot balls. So once we went to those, jumped out of this zone here, the first shot was still decent, but you saw that drop from the next shot to the next shot. And it was, if you look, it was weird that I chose 3 shots because third shot on the Byrna Kinetics was 18 joules. Thereafter, these were all 15, and as low over here, the 9.9s were 10 joules on the third shot. So it would appear that the Byrnas, they're gonna average better joules. But I'm measuring muzzle velocity. I'm not measuring impact energy. That is something that I'm working on. There are better ways to measure impact other than pans and coconuts and pineapples. And I should do more of that stuff for you guys. And to all those guys out there that do a lot of that, I love it. I really do. It's not knocking it at all. Like it gives us something. But I think if there was a scientific way to measure the impact force, and there is, but they're not inexpensive and they're not easy to come by either. It might change. And I'm being specific to this marker because of the way it is tuned. There are plenty of other markers that are gonna behave a lot differently. I'm specifically speaking about the Byrna pistol series. In the meantime, based on my results, I'm actually gonna stick with the Byrna Kinetics. I originally did, and then these Delrin balls here actually turned out a slightly better number in my previous test, but I didn't go through all the motions. And what I saw with these Delrins this time too is, yeah, the first number was up there. Not as high as the Byrna Kinetics, but previously it was higher. But that drop after, I don't like that. I don't like that inconsistency. I'd rather have it more of a gradual drop rather than these went from 25 to 18 and then to 15 or 13. I don't know, whatever. You guys can watch the video, make a decision for yourself. These aren't all the projectiles out there. There are plenty more. But I think for me, this was a good basis to understand a little bit more about what goes into choosing your projectile. And for this launcher, I'm gonna stick with the Kinetics for now. Believe it or not, there's a story floating around there. I think I spoke about it before. These things breaking ribs at 60 joules, so they are no slouch. If you can get them moving, they are going to still do damage. And as I said before, how I use this marker, how I carry it, and the specific situation that I carry it for, it works perfect. Probably no matter what projectile I choose. Hope this was at least a little bit useful. There's so much more, guys, but drop some comments, like, subscribe, share. Let me know what projectiles you like, or if you got some crazy story where, I don't know, you got like 1 million joules out of one of these. I don't know. I'm just one guy, guys. Get you on the next one.